Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a really huge report to share with you, and this one is about how Donald Trump is turning the deep state on its head. And not only that, but there is also evidence mounting of a possible CIA or ISIS-linked dispersal of the pneumonic plague, which we know is breaking out over there in Madagascar. Now, to talk about this, I've brought on an insider, and that is Dave Hodges. He is author of the CommonSenseShow.com, and he also has a YouTube channel, The Common Sense Show. I'll leave links below so you guys can check out his channel. But he's got a lot to say, and I brought him on via audio Skype. So, Dave, are you with me over there?
I'm with you.
All right, so tell me first, what's going on with Donald Trump, the counter crew? Is he turning the deep state on their head? And then we'll get into the pneumonic plague part.
Well, Donald Trump is the master of the deal, as he likes to say. He has surrounded and insulated himself with Marine Corps loyalists. He is also supported by major elements of the Navy, most notable the nuclear submarine fleet. And he has done a good job of lining up alliances to insulate himself against the deep state and their coup. The coup basically is about the Russian collusion, false allegations designed to get him out of office through impeachment or to force a resignation. Also, the deep state is trying to erode Donald Trump's support base through continual censorship like we experience on YouTube and like we also experience on Google elements on our web pages and also on Facebook. So the coup is very, very pervasive, and it is led by the deep state, and Donald Trump has now struck back. Let me speak to about a couple specific things he's done. The Marine Corps is only answering to Donald Trump, and I mean only Donald Trump. They are not responding to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who are basically deep state controlled, and they were also now serving as his personal bodyguard. The Marine Corps also will stand the ready if the deep state does what they want to do. At least I want your listeners to hear this very carefully. We have witnessed an unprecedented amount of mass casualty false flag events here this fall going into the winter, and they're going to continue. And the deep state is trying to destabilize America to legitimize bringing in the UN as a, quote, peacekeeping force, which will be designed to imprison dissidents and seize guns under false pretenses. And Fox News reported on this 3 weeks ago. This is nothing out of the ordinary. This is from an Obama executive order, and Trump is aware of it. And the Marine Corps will meet these blue-helmeted people and take care of business if it comes to that. So that's kind of where we're at now. Trump has delivered indictments. The numbers are conflicting, but I am almost positive, and I'm 99% sure, that John McCain has been delivered an indictment. He's wearing a boot to cover his ankle bracelet for what he says is a torn Achilles tendon. Well, I coached sports for 30 years, and you don't put a boot on a torn Achilles tendon. And Hillary Clinton was seen going in to the FBI offices, and she was questioned. She walked out with a boot on her foot, and she says it's for a broken toe. Same thing. You don't wear a boot for a broken toe. She also, I believe, is wearing an ankle bracelet. And these two events are symbolic of what we are seeing across the board, where there are indictments delivered and cases are being built to unravel the deep state.
Well, and I think there was something like 1,800 sealed indictments in their jurisdictions that were posted on the interweb over the past couple of days, and that's more than the average. At least that's the rumored number, I guess. I don't know the full backing on that. But you're so right about the United Nations, because they have, I encourage people to go to United Nations, Google United Nations and disarmament. They actually have their own disarmament page that will pull up, which their entire goal is to have a peace force take your guns. They're the only ones who want the guns. They want to have all the power and take it away from everybody else, starting with the United States of America, because we're one of the freest open countries, if you will, at least for now, with our guns and our gun rights. So definitely something I've sensed on the radar coronavirus has been on the radar for a while. I'm really hoping Trump can stop it. Do you think that there is a way to halt that?
That's where the contest is going to begin. As they say, let the games begin. I mean, we are perilously close to a civil war. And that could be the final card in terms of what plays out to control the fate of this country and ultimately the fate of the world. You see, the world's been conquered. The deep state, as aligned with the New World Order people, have already conquered the world for the most part. The last remaining vestige of freedom, as Ronald Reagan liked to say, is the United States. They can't deal with our 7 million veterans of fighting age that have access to 300 million plus handguns and a population, although slumbering most of the time, will not accept further erosion of civil liberties. The American people are rising up in ways that I never would have predicted 5 years ago. And they know at the New World Order headquarters in Basel, they know that they got a big problem on their hands. And Lisa, this is where it gets scary. I've been told by a former FEMA insider whose specialty was counter bioterrorism, and we're talking about chemical and biological disbursements from enemies. He bugged out 5 years ago, next month, and created his own self-sustaining community with like-minded people because he said the rising tide of populism will cause the people that really run this country to exterminate tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, and he wanted to be in a safer place. This was before Donald Trump. This preceded Donald Trump by almost 3 years, and he said they were already worried about the rising tide of populism. And I'll give you a quote from Brzezinski that basically validates that viewpoint. He said in 2011, when he was addressing the Council on Foreign Relations, that it's easier now to kill a million than to control a million. Now, this is the danger zone that we've stepped into.
Absolutely. Now tell me on that kill a million, control a million that Brzezinski was talking about. And he said that quite a few years ago. But now we also have information of the CIA or ISIS, if you will, that evidence is mounting that they might or are letting go the pneumonic plague. Can you tell me a little bit about the information you have on that?
Well, the information I'm getting from medical people that will stay off the record for their own safety is that they're watching the mutations of the pneumonic plague as it takes place in Madagascar and now has spread to at least 10 nations. And that information is 4 days old, so it could even have gone farther. But what they are telling me is they've watched a virus that has gone from incubation period of about 3 to 5 days and will kill the person in another 3 to 5 days, to the incubation period is hours, and the person could be dead 3 hours after exposure. This thing has become very virulent, and so what they believe is that a natural virus, the pneumonic plague, has been taken and weaponized and also facilitated for spread, rapid spread, making it airborne where it wasn't airborne before, and this is now a bioweapon. Now, when we combine that with what we already know, Hillary Clinton and others like her, including John McCain, interesting, I'd mentioned these two who are, I believe, are under indictment, they formed the ISIS with discarded military equipment, which was illegal to do so in Iraq. And now we know that ISIS has drones. They've been using drones now for 3 years. And the drones first were surveillance, then they dropped bombs. The next logical step to carry out what many people fear in this country is a biochemical attack upon the people of the United States using drones launched by ISIS, provided to them by the CIA, their founders.
Gosh, I hope this is not part of their big comeback, so to speak. And I know, do you think the numbers over in Madagascar are underestimated about what they're actually giving us and what's going on over there?
I was told by a health official that when they reported 140 dead, he said he had personal knowledge of over 5,000 dead. So the answer is absolutely yes.
Wow, crazy. Well, with that, I think that kind of answered a lot of the questions that I had. Do you have any final thoughts, concerns, any of that? And leave your information. And also just a final word for, I guess, hope in the midst of the situation. I mean, obviously, it's not here at this time, but there's always ways to prepare, and there's always ways to stop and prevent things from happening also. So what's your final thought? And then share all your website information as well.
Well, my final thought is this, is that I would refer people to a two-part series I'm in the midst of right now. I said in an article that I published on the morning of November 22nd that the deep state is going to do one of two things or both, and I think they're going to do both. They're going to try to assassinate Donald Trump, and I wrote an article where I listed the parallels between the reasons for the JFK assassination on this anniversary of the 54th marking of his death, and also what reasons exist to assassinate Donald Trump. But I also believe they're going to initiate a mass casualty event to get their misdeeds off the front page. And I think this is where they're going to be killing millions of people with the ISIS drones. And I'll be covering that on thecommonsenseshow.com, which is my website. We'll also be covering it on our radio show this Sunday evening. The show airs from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific, 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be covering this topic extensively. And so those are two of the ways that people can follow me. And we also, as you said, have a YouTube channel called The Common Sense Show.
Awesome. And I'm going to leave all that information below for you guys, so you can click that below and check that out and check out his channel. And also, don't forget to check out my partner and give the kiss, the gift. I guess the kiss will work. But give the gift of protection this Christmas season on a VPN, a virtual private network. And that's virtualshield.com/Lisa Haven. And that's 20% off right now while it lasts. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. And I'm Lisa Haven, and that was Dave Hodges signing out.